everyone, and welcome back to Kairos for another chat with Pastor Fraser Pearce. Fraser, in Australia at the moment, we're in the lead up to a federal election, and so politics is very prominent in a lot of people's minds in our country at the moment. In the church, people sometimes want to talk about these things too, of course. Some Christians want to know, how should they vote? The Lutheran Church doesn't generally go down that track of advising people one way or another. Some Christians do want to claim God for one particular political party, or at least for a certain philosophy of politics and trajectories in politics. We talk about these sort of things sometimes, and one of the interesting ways I've heard you approach this area is to think about how God's revelation in the Bible in some ways seems to either transcend these discussions or perhaps better encompasses what are traditionally thought of as both left-wing and right-wing concerns. And even I've heard you talk about this in connection with the nature of God himself. Right. It's an interesting take on things, so I'm wondering if you can share that with us today.
Yeah, I think you could say the scriptures and perhaps even who God is both affirms what you could call left and right-wing concerns, but also calls into question perhaps key assumptions behind both of them, right? Right. So this is into the realm of speculation and opinion, right? So let's not say this is dogmatically revealed truths of the Christian faith, but things I've thought about as I've grown up. So I think let's think about left-wing concerns. What are they? When people have a left-wing view of the world, what are they concerned about? And I think one of the things they're concerned about is that people who do not have access to power are so easily abused or treated with contempt by those with power. And so people, you could say, from a left-wing sensibility or point of view, are concerned to champion the underdog, to take down those who are sitting in their high seats, and to make sure that people have enough or more than enough together in life to get by, right? And so they're particularly also concerned about the unequal distribution of goods and services and these sorts of things. And clearly that's a concern, a scriptural concern. You don't need to go far through the prophets to see these concerns outlined very clearly.
The orphan, the widow, and the alien. And
that's right, plenty of teaching. You could say people from a right-wing point of view are often more concerned about maintaining order in society. They look at left-wing wanting to destabilise the structures of the economy and so forth and think, well, what will happen? And they look back at history and revolutions and they say, see what happens when people with high hopes, they could even say utopian hopes, get into power, how it quickly descends into chaos or worse, how the very people who are meant to be protected ended up in gulags or things like this. Surely we don't want to go down that path. We need order, and so we'll support those who are in power, even if it means those who have less power suffer. Okay, I think this is part of right-wing thinking. I don't think right-wing people want people to suffer, down the food chain you could say, and I don't think left-wing people want murderous utopias. The concerns are both legitimate concerns, I would say, but here we are.
And as the concern for the orphan, the widow, and the refugee is in the prophets, so in the scriptures is a concern for rightful authority and all this.
All this sort of stuff, obeying the rightful authorities, even when they wield the sword. In fact, it's God wielding the sword through them. Stuff which sounds outrageously right-wing, you could say. They're both there, right? I think when right-wing and left-wing sensibilities get together, there can be shared assumptions, nevertheless, which, to my mind at least, aren't always clearly dealt with or explicated, right? So, for example, let's say you think about difference. You always got to have difference in the human community, right? And I think both left-wing and right-wing people can say, or assume I should say, that difference necessarily means domination. From a left-wing point of view, difference means domination, therefore we must reduce difference as much as possible and have interchangeability among people in the human community. I think with right-wing people, they say difference is inevitable, and so we have to maintain difference in a way that leads to social cohesion, even if it means that people suffer. But I would say the shared assumption is difference must mean domination. Okay. And this is where I think Christian theology gets quite interesting. Now, this is, of course, somewhat speculative. But let's think about the Trinity. As we receive and hand on the teaching of the Trinity, one of the things we say is that the Father is not the Son is not the Spirit's not the Father, and yet there is one God. We say the persons of the Trinity are not interchangeable. So you think in classical theological terms, we are not modalists, right? Father and Son can't be interchanged. They're distinct persons. On the other hand, we would say that there is true equality within the Godhead. So we would not say that the Son is less God than the Father. Or we would not say the Father dominates, lords it over the Son. In the Godhead, in other words, we have difference without domination. In fact, we have harmony within the Trinity. I think this calls us perhaps to a different way of looking at also the political realm. Can we start to think and articulate our politics in a way which is talking about harmony, understanding the left-wing concern? We don't want to have a subordination-ism in our world where some people without are just sidelined, marginalised, harmed. But also we would have a political realm where there is a harmonious working together and not chaos, not falling prey to enforcing an interchangeability, which brings no happiness or joy to the human community, I would say. Now, of course, this is somewhat speculative, but these are the kind of thoughts I've had in this realm at least.
This is not necessarily the sort of thing that we would preach from the pulpit here in our congregation, but as pastors, some of the things that do get us thinking, from the scriptures. So Fraser, good to have you here again today, and folks, good to have you watching this video. Where else can you come for a discussion of politics and end up talking about the nature of the Holy Trinity? There it is, something worth thinking about today. God bless you. We'll see you again.